All right. So today I'm gonna be talking about like life and growing up in it, especially in this like recent time. And I've been doing a lot of it myself. I'm getting older, starting to, and I'm realizing shit and learning lessons. And I think that's what a lot of it is about, especially growing up. Like learning from your mistakes, becoming better, learning from everything, like losses. There's all kinds of losses and shit. There's lost opportunities. If you act certain ways, you could burn bridges. If you miss like a deadline or something, that can shape you. You could also have losses in other ways, like death. You don't even realize how like death can shape you as a person if you lose people really young. Some people don't even have the opportunity to have like a childhood and shit, and that sucks because they'll go through stuff super early on, and it'll make them grow up faster. So that's always like something in certain situations. But I know off losing people that I've lost through death and shit, like it makes you more reclusive in a ways, and not wanting to get close, because if you were close to somebody and lost them, you don't want to do that again. And that can do a lot to you. Figuring out how to maneuver past that and live for them. Just continuing to live and grow and shit. You could lose friends, like through not death, through like just connections and silly stuff. Sometimes you think people will be around a lot longer than they are, and when they're not, it kind of sucks. Especially if you were close or like had a connection with them and you opened to them. And you gotta learn that, like, while it's cool to be there for everybody and everyone, you gotta be there for yourself first most. Make yourself okay, make yourself happy. There's certain lessons you go through in life that will challenge you, and challenges and stuff, and that's a real thing, because it doesn't get easier, definitely. Like, you're growing up and like shit's a certain way, and you're like, okay, it's gonna be like this, and then you get a curveball and you start thinking certain ways. So you just gotta maneuver through it, and every time life knocks you down, you just gotta get back up and like persevere. Get through all like the cloud and the fog, and if you have a certain goal or like something that you really want to do or something you want to be, it's gonna come with backlash, whether that be an artist or a political figure or just like a good person, or like people hate to see people doing stuff, and I think that can be so unmotivating. Like, it can break a lot of people down and not want them to keep going, and you can give into it, or you can figure out how to knuckle down and just pass through stuff. I think staying true to you is super important, because a lot of people like to just go with the flow of like, oh, they're saying this, they're saying that's cool, or they're saying this person's cool, or that person's canceled. It's all about realizing what's real and not letting all that other stuff phase you. I've been thinking about a lot, and like how to how to just be a good person, how to treat people right, and it's harder whenever you have a lot of inner battles that you're already dealing with. Then you have to also deal with these outside problems. Like there's inner problems that you deal with by yourself that nobody knows about, and there's problems that are the outside source where they bring the problems to you. So it's like you're battling two battles a lot of the time. And I feel, especially people with mental illness or just mental issues. I hate to say illness because I feel like illness is such a negative term, but just mental issues, like stuff can affect you more than stuff affects other people. It can bring you down. It can weigh a lot heavier on you. You can overthink a lot. I overthink almost every decision I be making, but I think a lot of people think that we're alone in it all, that I have it worse than everybody else, or I'm struggling in a way that nobody else struggles. And as cliche as it like sounds and shit, I really think that we're not alone, because I've been meeting like people, I've met people through this time that I have been here, and like people open up and people share their issues. And not to say that everyone's the same, but like there's comfort in knowing that we all have problems, and no one's problems are bigger than anyone else's. And maybe you're dealing with anger issues, but maybe someone's dealing with a loss, or maybe you're dealing with trying to find happiness, and somebody else is trying to deal with finding success. And success and happiness, I feel like people really tie together, and I don't think that's a case, because like people can be successful, they can have a successful job, but then they come home and they're absolutely sad in their home life because maybe their wife's not with them, or they don't have their kids. And then there's people who are happy with their jobs and they're just not successful in it, but they still like what they're doing because it brings them happiness, or they have their kids and they have their family with them. So they find something to be grateful for. And I think that's also a big thing. Not taking anything for granted. It's harder said than done, especially with me. I don't, I have to sit myself down and tell myself what I am grateful for, to remind myself, like, all this hard work that I've put into this, and especially when it comes to us artists, independent artists and everything, we got to put the money up. We got to make everyone on point. You got to bring the energy. You got to feel this expectation. And like during that whole time, you're still a person. You're still a regular human like everybody else. And it's a little straining, but it's also what you ask for. So like a lot of times, if you're being ungrateful and you're like struggling in certain situations, where you got to be thinking about what you are grateful for. So if you're just down bad, down on your luck, and you're like, why am I doing this? Why am I having to sit out here in the middle of the night, no ride or whatever? Why am I having to sleep on this floor? And it's like, in the terms of me, it's because I know in the big picture what I want, and you got to go through the struggle. And life's about struggling. There's not an easy ticket. And those who do get that are like far and few in between, I feel. Especially if it's going to be something really good, you really got to work hard for it, and you got to do it yourself. You can't let what anyone says stop you, or like let what anyone says get in your thoughts. If you have like a set thing to do, then do it. And then they're going to say something anyways, like just let them say it. So I think, learning how to get back up from your losses is a big thing. Some people, they'll get knocked down and they won't want to get back up. Some people will get talked about one time about one person and they never want to do anything again, You could lose a competition, you could lose this freaking person that you had in your life that you thought meant everything or whatever. And like, love is crazy like that. If you lose the love of your life, or like someone you think you're really infatuated with, it can drive you to the point of like self-despair and like not liking yourself because they didn't accept you. And that's another thing. You just got to pick yourself back up. And I think at the end of the day, it's just about getting back up. Even if it's 100 times, if it's 1,000 times, that's what you got to do. And it doesn't get easier. The more you want to do, the harder it gets. The further you go, like, I think people expect life to come through easy and like them to just get what they want. So when they don't get what they want, it's like, oh, well, I'm not getting what I want. I'm gonna throw a fit, or I'm gonna feel so bad about it. But a lot of the times, a lot of people don't get what they want until they go get it, and I feel that's something not a lot of people take into consideration, like making stuff happen for yourself without relying on anybody. I've been doing what I do. I make music and stuff, and I've been doing it for like 5-ish years, maybe. But every time I want something done, I have to go and I have to be it. I have to go make sure that thing happens. I could sit back and I could not let nothing happen, and then I could be sad as to, oh, why is nothing going nowhere? But it's about like investing in yourself and honestly investing, not just like money. You got to invest yourself money wise, but like invest in your mental, in your spirit, in your connections, and like the way you treat people. And self-reflecting is it's a big thing. I think what would help, especially in my case, like what I've realized is just like enjoying everything, and even if it's big or small, and if you're just drunk outside, or if you're doing something inside by yourself, like find happiness, find peace in it, find appreciation in anything and everything. And if you achieve something, like don't just throw that away. Like be proud of your achievements. You got to acknowledge what you do, and that'll help you by far more than anything, I think. Reflecting on the stuff that I have done, good and bad, because like people do bad things. I've done things I'm not proud of. I feel like everybody does things they're not proud of, and if you don't learn from that and you don't try to grow from that and do better, then you're just what everyone wants to say you are, and you just prove them right. And what feels best to me is proving people wrong in the right way. Like, no matter how much they want to stop you, you're going to keep going. No matter how much they say, you're not going to believe it. You're going to just persevere and bounce back every time. They're going to throw you to the floor. You just got to bounce back up. Just enjoying it all. That's how you get through it. Even if they're like distractions, and like people say you're not supposed to distract yourself because you're pushing away the stuff, but like it's not a distraction if you find the purpose and the happiness in it. Like everybody needs something to feel and to regret. You need to regret something, If you don't, how else are you gonna figure stuff out beyond that? It's a real give and take with stuff. Like nobody's gonna go through perfect, and nobody's gonna go through being a complete mess. And if you are, then you're just going nowhere. At the same time, you also gotta allow people to change and become better persons if that's what they want to do, and they're showing that they're doing that. I think a lot of maturing is growing up and realizing that, like how to forgive exactly, because I feel like when you're young, or like you're just stubborn, I feel like stubbornness is a very immature state of mind. Like you got to be able to put yourself in other people's shoes. And it sounds very cliche, like it sounds cheesy, and I always think it sounds cheesy, but like put yourself in their shoes and allow them and take yourself out of the situation to see them as they are, or why they do things, or allow them to grow and become better people, you know what I mean? Because that's what we all want to do at the end. If I were looking at somebody, I would still want them to stop doing the bad things and just be better. So that's how I also push on to other people. I think it's about that, not staying down, picking yourself up, persevering, taking your losses with pride. Celebrate the wins because how many losses it took to get there. Like, I think there's a lot more losses than wins, and if you're not learning from that, then you could be like doing yourself an injustice. You know, don't just take a loss as a loss and let it be. Like, you want to reflect on that, and as you grow, you see it, and yeah.